just a good old voice, never meaning no harm. Beats all you never saw, been in trouble with the law since the day they was born. Straightening the curves, flattening the hills. Someday the mountain might get 'em, but the law never will.
Good morning, guys, and welcome to the channel. So today we're going to continue on the Jeep build. So if you remember last week, we cleaned all the interior, cleaned the carpets and seats, but now we're going to start on the suspension, and we got to continue with the lift kit. So right now the Jeep has these coil springs on the front and a spacer, and I think the Jeep's about 4.5 inches of lift with these springs. So since we already have the coil springs, there's no need of buying a new set, because these right here work real good and they ride pretty good. So today we're going to replace the control arms. So as you can see, this Jeep still has the factory control arms, and you can see that they're at a pretty good angle, and that's not really good to run them like that. That's causing the suspension not to flex like it should. So I bought a set from Rough Country. They look like a pretty good set. They're for a 4.5 inch lift. Now before you start doing this, you may want to, a few days before, you may want to get some PB Blaster or Z45 and spray on the boat. So the first thing you want to do, go ahead and jack the Jeep up. And you want to get you some jack stands. And you want to come up and put them on the unibody rail. You're going to want your wheels to be able to hang in the air a little bit. So I put the jack under the axle just to help support it a little bit, just to ease off just a little bit of pressure, so to make these control arms a little bit easier. So you're going to need a 21mm socket and wrench. We're going to keep our factory bolts, so if your boat's in good shape, you can go ahead and keep it. If they're in bad shape, you'll have to buy a new set. So here's our factory control arm. Let me put some light on this. So here's the factory control arm. And here is the Rough Country one I bought. You can see these are pretty good quality. We'll take our new control arm, we'll slide it up in here. Take our boat. So this control arm right here ain't lining up good. We need to move the axle forward some, so I'm going to take a ratchet strap and wrap around the axle, and I'll hook it to the front bumper, and we'll be able to pull the axle forward just a little bit. The reason this is like this is because these are a little bit longer than the factory arms. So now we're going to go ahead and tighten these two bolts up. And you need to torque those to 130 foot-pounds. If you don't have a torque wrench, just make sure they're real good and tight. Same way on the driver's side, I ain't gonna film it. Probably just need to use a ratchet strap, do the same thing to help move the axle forward. So if you remember before, Our factory control arm was hitting this bracket right here, and now it's the new rough country control arm. You can see we got quite a bit of space in there. Now allow some more room for flex. So now that we got the control arms in, we're now going to install our new shocks. So first thing we need to do is remove the old shocks. So right here is the new shocks I bought. These are from Quadratech, the Hydro 7.0. Supposed to be a pretty good shock. It comes with your bushing and your bar pin. Then you get your top hardware. So we need to take these shocks over to a vise and press this bushing in. Before we do that, we'll go ahead and remove our old shock. So you want to open the hood, and if you'll look down about right there, that's the top of the shock, and you need to remove, I think it's a 14mm. Now sometimes when you turn this, the whole shock will try to turn also, and you're going to need to take a pair of vice grips, just something to hold it to keep it from spinning. But sometimes you can hold it with your hand and be able to get it to turn. And after you remove that, you're going to come down here to the bottom. Now these shocks here are a little bit different. It's got a spacer for the shock. There's going to be two, down here at the bottom there's going to be two bolts holding it. And I think they're a 13mm. So now we need to install our bushings and the new shocks. Now these shocks come with a boot. I've heard people say that can cause this bore right here to rust out faster. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave that off. Alright, so what we're doing, we're taking the vise and we're going to push this bushing up in there. Now to make this just a little bit easier, I'm going to spray this with a little bit of PPE Blaster. It shouldn't hurt the rubber. I'm just going to put a little bit. So you can see that made the install a whole lot easier. Now we need to install our bar pin. So same thing on this one. A little bit on it. Stop that right there. Now we're going to start our new shock. You're going to need this plate right here. You're going to slide that over there. And you're going to take this bushing and you're going to slide that on that. And now we're going to go ahead and push the shock up in there. At the bottom, you're going to line your shock up with the groove right there. You'll see the two holes. I'm just going to push that up in there. Now both shocks are tightened down. So now there's one more thing I want to do to complete our front end. I want to change the steering stabilizer. So I decided to leave the stock sway bar off. Since we ain't going to be on the street very much, it'd be better off just to leave it off. Smooth the factory steering stabilizer. So we'll start by removing that bolt right there. There's a bolt and a nut on the other side. It's 18mm. There's also one right up here. It's 18mm. So this bolt right here is pretty tight, so I'm going to get it something to... I don't have room right here to get my impact, so I'm going to have to get a breaker bar or something to try to get this off. The bolt at the bottom, which is for this piece right here, is stripped out on this one, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it off. Alright, I had a fight with this a little bit. I had to get the breaker bar out. There we go. So here's our new rough country steering stabilizer. Here's the factory one. As you can see, there's quite a bit of difference in these. See, that's a whole lot bigger. So that should run these 33 pretty good. So I think the steering stabilizer is designed for different Jeeps. This piece right here actually don't fit on this one. This might be for some other Jeep model. So on the Cherokee, you're going to have to install this piece right here. You're going to have to push that in. It should go in right. And now all you're going to need is a bolt and washer and a nut. Then I'm going to reuse the factory bolt right here. Alright, so we're going to line this up. So we're going to put the bolt in. We're going to take our washer. We're going to put that on top. Then we'll install our lock nut. And we'll push this through. Then we'll take our, then we'll put our nut on the other side. Now we just need to tighten all this down. So now our steering stabilizer is installed, our new shocks, and our lower control arms. So now we have completed the front end. In the rear we already got our added leaf. So the only thing I got to do is install the rear shocks. So that's going to complete the video on the front end of the lift. Hope you guys liked the video. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for more.